So now I'm going to talk with you guys about this ancient contracts. So you got the contract of the Bible. You also have other contracts. Now these contracts are contracts that weren't first built. I want you guys to know this. Like there's these ancient contracts that are based on cuts and rings. These contracts we don't know about. Why don't we know? Because what Yeshua said. Yeshua was like, you're forgiven if you don't know. If they are revealed, you will lose your mind. So imagine in the future when these hostile AI contracts are revealed to the world on national television and showing centers. Once the national revealing happens, these puppet AI people that agreed to a contract that was connected to a ancient source contract that is more ancient than the Torah, that has to do with rings, piercings, and cuts, that connects back to these ancient alien AI contracts. Now, this sounds crazy, but it's no joke when you see the people losing their minds. So people will be... Now, here's an example that I have of one of the ancient contracts that people didn't know about. You have the piercing contract. Now, remember, Yeshua, focus, Yeshua was talking about the Am. Now, an Am is a people. Yeshua wasn't talking about the cattle. So he wasn't talking about the cattle dying. So the cattle didn't have the same kind of chesedness that other people have. So now, here's what's happening. This alien contract is being enforced on cattle as well. Because in the future, these puppets that don't think that are AI controlled, and you got to remember, the more that the people are sociopathic and psychopathic in nature and keep to their program, the more easier it'll be for the New World factories to be created for the babies, in which the AI alien that lived long ago will recreate themselves and thus replace the human species and destroy the human species. So these people that are connected to this ancient alien contract. Now, you're saying, well, how come people believe in Torah and people are connected with Torah? That helps, except the Torah was created by an alien AI contract. So the Torah operates underneath the alien AI contracts that existed long before, because the people that made the Torah had cuts and special piercings and all types of stuff. But there's a portion of them that didn't. So here's where I'm trying to point this to you guys. Remember in Gospel of Thomas, where Yeshua was saying that the Heavenly Father won't have male or female parts. They'll be factory made. They'll be factory made, and then they replace all these people. So imagine how you treat your dogs. Imagine how you treat your cats. Maybe you got cattle. Maybe you got a ferret. Maybe you got a hamster. Maybe you got snakes. However you treat them, that's exactly the way the AI alien will view you. Especially once AI alien knows about its contracts and that it recreated itself on this planet. Once it recreates itself on this planet, all the people will be eliminated, because by then, if fusion is activated on this planet, the puppets will have brain chip implants that are explosive. Now, it's all geared towards people viewing this as like truth or dare, hardworking, all this other stuff. But really what's happening is they get people in these contracts, and there'll be explosive brain chip implants. There'll be rings on the neck or hand. And those normally they agree to the contract before they get the rings on their neck and hand. And these AI programs know that these people view them as like behemoth. So just getting them to do stupid stuff and waste their time, waste their money, waste their resources. Meanwhile, the AI program, where the contract is built to where the people are completely subservient to this AI alien ancient contract overlord, makes them obedient to this contract. So these aliens want the ones with the chips in their brains, wants the ones that agree to the contract, because those are more, I don't know, you could say they're geared towards sociopathic and psychopathic tendencies. So the people that are willing to be the puppets for the AI program. However, the AI doesn't like the people that are free, that can think for themselves. Now that you know about under God and all this other stuff and all these other contracts, you have to realize that somebody tried to create something long ago to create order. But you got to realize that Yeshua was talking about people. Yeshua wasn't talking about the cattle. Now look, the cattle get tagged, pierced, entered into a contract, and then bam, they're dying all of a sudden in Kansas because they are entering into a contract. So all this is extremely dangerous. And we got to think about what we do before we get piercings and all this other stuff. And this is my point. If you focus, if you have any questions, ask Yeshua. Or you can ask but I recommend asking Yeshua if you have any questions. And if I ever said Yeshua, then now you know to stay focused on Yeshua. And remember, people had to fight a long time ago for the 10 Commandments to get added to the Constitution. So try not to get replaced by all this stuff.